Hi everybody, this is Alchemist 2 and I'm back again with another book review. This is the second book in the Magician series, and I noticed that there was an episode which actually featured Renard the Fox, and the scene that was used, I thought, yeah, they integrated this into the show, but shouldn't that have happened a little bit later when they're actually in Fillory and Quentin is king along with Elliot and all that? The timeline in the show doesn't have the juxtaposition as it does in the book, but books never really translate that well into television series unless they're done authentically. But I still enjoy The Magicians, suffice it to say, even though it has some of those glaring um, errors. I still love it because I am totally head over heels for Elliot. But needless to say, putting that out of the way, Julia comes to magic quite differently from Quentin, and Quentin is now King of Fillory, and he's presented a quest where he has to go aboard the Muntjac, his ship. It's a pretty seaworthy vessel, and a righteous one at that. And there are 6 keys in Fillory, and there's one more key that he has to go into the underworld to get, and visit Julia's shade, and it gets kind of confusing, but it's really unbelievably written. And Alice is no longer, she's a Niffin basically, and so is Julia's shade, believe it or not. There are a lot of things that happen in this particular book that are just, oh my lord. It's very heady, to say the least, and I like the fact that it goes into that realm. And she talks about an ancient kind of power called Our Lady Underground, who pre-existed before any other form of magic in the world. A deity, a goddess, and she's actually visited by this goddess, Our Lady Underground. Julia was only thinking that she was a myth because Julia doesn't really believe in things that can't be explained and aren't empirical in nature. And honestly, I can understand that because I'm on the fringe myself. I admit I am a Christian. I don't really like putting that label on myself, but I am one. But I don't really confess or attest to being quote unquote Christian. I am spiritual. But I do know that in the world there are forces that cannot be explained or quantified by empirical method alone, and that's what Our Lady Underground actually proves. And needless to say, there is a happy, well, not quite a happy end for Quentin, and I'm not going to go into why that is, but it's just really quite a fascinating book that just mesmerizes you from the get-go. You're completely transfixed and pulled into the world of Fillory and this quest that they all have to go on, and especially Quentin himself. He has to go through something really devastating and just soul-rending. And I thought, ooh, this is really dark. But I mean, the TV series is too, and it sticks to that chord. And that's why I like it so much, because it's different from any other fantasy I've gotten into. Game of Thrones is even similar to that. It's not all sugary and fairies and unicorns and rainbows and butterflies and lollipops. No, this is really gritty, gory, even sometimes rather uncomfortable to read. But especially with Julia's encounter with Renard, which I talked about that episode, oh my god, oh lord. Yeah, that was really hard for me to watch. But it was good. I mean, it was a great way to breach the subject, and why sometimes, and I hate admitting to this, that it's kind of difficult to be a woman in that respect, because we take the brunt of a lot of things, and it can't be helped. We've kind of been over sexualized, I think. But I even though I am straight, I feel like I'm kind of gender fluid, because I like to be around men and women, and I love both equally, but I definitely want to marry a man, to say the least. But I feel comfortable around people who are lesbian. I feel comfortable around people who are trans. I feel comfortable around people who cross dress. I don't care. I mean, just so long as you're expressing your true, authentic self, who am I to judge you? I love you for who you are. I mean, that's what I was taught. That's what I believe, and it's how I live. And I think that we're all just trying to bump along and coexist. And it even proves that in the book, that they have to overcome their shortcomings. And even poor Julia, my God, the things that she goes through just to get to the high. She actually ascends to the highest echelon in her magic training, and it's just incredible. It's not conventional the way she does it, but she does it nonetheless. And needless to say, regardless, this book is absolutely brilliant. It's just genius. And Lev Grossman has become one of my favorite authors of all time due to that, and I want to write just like him, although I wouldn't be swearing so much. I don't like using profanity. Call me a prude. I mean, I only swear when I'm really, really angry, and that's rarity for me. But anywho, superlative book. It just was marvelous. I could not put it down, and I'm glad I have finally had a chance to finish it. And I'm going to read the third book, yeah, all in due time, and see how it leads to the glorious conclusion. And I know, being the world of Fillory and what it is, it's not going to be what we expect, because Lev Grossman loves to play with our emotions. Darn you, Lev! But I love you anyway. You're just an inspiration to me. Keep on doing what you're doing, and kudos to you. That's all I have to say. Live long and prosper. Ciao, Tutti.